Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Physiology of Endurance Running podcast, Road to Valencia series, episode 3, 10 weeks to go. How is everybody feeling? Excited?
Still excited, just about. On the
Jen's
edge.
deflated already. She was buzzing that first episode. She was like, got all the energy of like the taper and like 13 weeks to go, 12 weeks to go. It's fading now, is it?
Downhill.
The mileage is starting to hit.
The mileage is starting to hit. Yeah, I'm looking forward to a slightly less high mileage week this week, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah. Owain's already told me he's in the oven. He's a bit overcooked already. Too keen.
Not as bad today as I was yesterday. Yeah, this is maybe the drawback where we do Monday to Sunday, because if we'd rolled over, it's been a tough start to the week, but I will be okay.
It gives you a chance to reflect on the week, doesn't it? I think if you'd done it on Sunday evening, you'd still be on a high. The fatigue wouldn't have hit yet.
No, it hit.
It hit on Sunday. Sunday afternoon.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing about that.
How are you, Dan?
I'm good. I've had a bit of a mini holiday, which is always exhausting, trying to fit training around family stuff, but good fun. West Wales. I'll tell you about it in my week, but it was pleasant and coincided with at the start of tapering into Cardiff half really. So that was nice to not put too much pressure on myself to get loads of miles in. So that was nice.
Nice.
Do you want to tell us about some SOAR?
Yeah, so as always, we're sponsored by SOAR. Definitely check out their kit. There's new kit dropping. And we also have a giveaway. We did this, did we do it back in like March, April time, I think? We did a SOAR times Physiology of Endurance Running podcast giveaway. We've got another, competition. There's not much of a competition to it. You just need your email address. We'll post the link on our socials and in the show notes for the episode. Basically sign up with your email address. Sign up before the 7th of December, that's the day after Valencia, right?
7th of December, Valencia, isn't it?
Or is it the day of?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah. So sign up's open until Valencia. You just get one entry, so it's just subscribing to their email list. And the winner will be picked at random and they get a £250 SOAR gift card, which we think is pretty good. I think Jen just said she's entering herself.
Absolutely, just in time for Christmas.
Yeah. So, we're really excited. We had a really good response when we did a giveaway with SOAR before. And we all really love their kit. I've worn a bunch of it in the last week, which will definitely be mentioned in my week. I think, Dan, did you take any to West Wales?
It's too nice to be tested on the rugged Welsh coastline, to be honest. I didn't want to take it because I knew it would get neglected and battered. And it's hardy stuff, but you got to keep your best stuff when people are going to see you,
That's Cardiff half this weekend then.
Yeah.
That's it, yeah. Full SOAR.
Check out Dan's outfit, I guess, at Cardiff half, and then sign up to our giveaway. Like I said, in the show notes and on our socials, and we'll keep posting about it until Valencia. But really excited. We really love working with SOAR. Their class. Really, really nice bunch of people.
And we've got the marathon PB project is still live as well. So I can't remember the details of that. You've run a PB and you'll get 50 quid in credit. And again, I think that's until the 13th of December, I want to say. So basically any autumn marathon, just take a screenshot. You can wear whatever kit you like and prove you got a PB by screenshotting the results, and they'll give you 50 quid in credit, which is a pretty nice gesture, I think. So definitely go check them out. Another exciting announcement before we get into our weeks. So I guess for long-term listeners, you'll have heard myself and Owain do an episode about a year ago on supplements and how most of them are pretty useless, don't work. I think in that episode, we ruled it down to basically caffeine, bicarb as like the ones that have got good evidence for having an effect. And that's about it. And I always joke that if it works, it's probably because it's got banned supplements in it. Like, it's probably, if it works, it's probably it's banned. If it's not banned, it probably doesn't work. Like, however, we're very fortunate to have been gifted a product to stress test over the course of the next, well, we've got 10 weeks to go. And it's the active component is anthocyanins, which are pigments found in like red, purple, and like blue fruits, and they've been known for a long time to have antioxidant properties. But this particular supplement that we've been gifted is called currants. So it uses New Zealand black currants, which have got very high levels of these anthocyanins in, and they've basically extracted the active component, concentrated it really to high levels, and this has been shown to have a lot of beneficial effects. So again, normally you go and Google supplements and you'll find one white paper done in-house which shows, oh yeah, you're going to improve your performance by 100% by if you take this. Whereas when we were approached by these people, that's was my initial stance, but then quite quickly saw that they've got 65 research papers from independent institutions, mostly from the UK, showing some really beneficial effects of currants, this black currant supplement, for a whole host of benefits. So anti-inflammatory benefits, recovery benefits, so reduced muscle soreness in response to training, increased rates of fat oxidation, reduced lactate levels, and actually just acute effects of performance, seeing about a 1 to 2% increase in performance if you take currants, this New Zealand black currants, before a race or workout. So we've been very kindly gifted these currants supplements to fuel us through our marathon block, and we're going to basically stress test them. So we're going to do some experiments and see if we think they're beneficial to you guys. So I've been taking them, like, anecdotally, I'll come out and say I've been taking it for a month and have noticed quite a big difference in my recovery levels. That's also coincided with a shift to a more, what we say, pro athlete lifestyle, in terms of I keep getting teased by Owain when he's out at 6 a.m. But when I'm doing my runs at 9 a.m., 9:30, 10 a.m. But I'm not. I'm definitely a pro athlete hours these days compared to Owain. But I have been feeling like I've been tolerating training a lot better, and I've been pushing that 185k limit that I've said is my break point for the last 3 weeks, and I've not broken yet, touch wood. So yeah, we'll see. We're going to come up with some experiments, stress test this over the course of a marathon block, and we'll feed back to you and see how we get on.
Yeah, we've me and Jen have only just got ours, so we can't say for sure yet. But I know I messaged you guys last night saying, can I take a whole pack of these? Because yeah, when I was in the oven, I needed any help I could get. But no, yeah, we're excited. I mean, one of the first things they said to us as well was that they would send us a placebo to test, which I think, yeah, like you said, if you get, a supplement appears and you're like skeptical, I think you should be healthily skeptical. But then when they said we'll send you a placebo, that's normally a good sign that, well, one, that they aren't just completely like backing their product unreasonably, but also that they're willing to let you do that. It's quite nice as well. So
yeah, they've definitely got they really back their product, I think, and from what I've seen, they've put a really good evidence base together to support that. A couple of other things to mention is, one, it's informed sport, so they get it tested for contamination, and they're very thorough those checks. So a lot of supplements are not informed sport certified, which basically means if they're informed certified, every batch gets checked to make sure there's no banned products in there. So you could take it and you've got to be as confident as you can be that there's no testosterone, steroids, anything that's on the WADA ban list in the product. They've also got a 100% money back guarantee if you don't feel the benefits of reduced muscle soreness specifically, which is their best. The amount of evidence they've got is the strongest for reducing muscle soreness post exercise. So they definitely have got some good claims and some evidence to support their products. And yeah, I'm anecdotally, I just generally feel like I'm coping better with training, more energy. I've done some big hard sessions, expected to be in a hole the next day, and I've been pleasantly surprised when I've gone out for a jog the next day. There's so many factors there. That's why we want to do a few more controlled trials of it. And maybe we can get our hands on some of those placebos as well, and really do a proper blinded like mini case study, which would be nice to do. But yeah, I'm excited to try them out.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to potentially having reduced muscle soreness, as that is crippling some mornings.
Yeah, I think you're going to be perfect for this,
I'm the
Jen, because you're
perfect
the first
experiment. Yeah,
marathon block. That is peak muscle
definitely.
soreness, isn't it? Peak
Yeah,
muscle soreness. So we get into some weeks then.
let's do it.
Yeah, Jen, are you going to kick us off?
Shall I? What was the date of the
Tw-
beginning of last week?
22nd of September.
Okay, let me just find it on the old Strava. 22nd. Aha, got it. Right, I'll kick us off. It was a class morning for running, according to my Strava caption on the 22nd of September. So it started with an easy run. I did an hour easy on Monday morning, followed up with 6 by 12-second strides, still getting them in at least once a week, which is good. Standing, I haven't quite managed to get to the walk back to the start recovery part of the strides yet. I'm still standing there really impatiently, just waiting for that minute to come around. But got them done, and then finished that off with a hot bath on the Monday morning. 20 minutes this time, but that does get longer during the week, so watch this space. So yeah, 20-minute hot bath to round out Monday morning, and then I went out again in the afternoon for 47 minutes, just easy along the Taff again. And I was actually feeling all right coming off the Sunday run, which I was surprised about, to be fair, because most of the Sundays have beaten me up a lot, but this week seemed all right. So that was good, and gave me a bit of confidence going into the Tuesday session, which is probably like it's a variation on a theme, really. My Tuesday sessions, it's 16k of work off very short recovery, pretty much. So this Tuesday it was 4 sets of 4 by a K off 20 seconds, and then 75 seconds between the rest. I know Dan picked me up on this last week. He said, "What's the point of the 20-second rest?"
Do you find it beneficial, 20 seconds?
Well, apparently it is. I feel like it's just like a precursor to then putting it all together. So at some point, I'm probably going to run 16k at the same pace, but without the rest. And I think it's getting to that stage. Coming from someone who's probably my longest reps before I started training for a marathon was a 2k. Now I think like eventually putting together like 16k or 20k of running all at once. I think this is kind of like the introduction to that. Mentally, having the 20 seconds rest is really nice because it breaks it up. So I know, like, oh, okay, well, I just got to get through a K. Then I got 20 seconds, and then I'm going to go again.
I know I've said to a few of the guys I coach, like doing the sort of intensity stuff, like you should probably finish the rep and then stop, and like within 10 to 15 seconds you should physically be good to go again.
Yeah.
And like really the break is like more mental than like physical. If you're running them at the right intensity, if you need more than like 30 seconds before you can even think about starting, like you're running the rep too hard.
Yeah.
So yeah, like it's just a little bit of a break and you should be good to go. Like I know Dan's point that like you barely stopped before you get going again, but like yeah, in terms of just the physical benefit, I think, or the physical reason, I think that for me.
I agree with that, and I think like I'm very like used to like just hammering reps and knowing that when I get to the end of it, I've got a minute to 90 seconds to recover, and like I'm gonna feel good again by the time I start. But I'm probably not running them at the right intensity. Whereas with this, it's like I'm a bit nervous that I'm going to overcook it, and then the reps are just going to get slower and slower. So I think that's kind of the reason behind it, and also just to like control my threshold and my lactate levels as well. Just whilst we're kind of extending the length of sessions. Just making sure we are doing it in the right area, and I'm not going to come out of it like super fried, because then obviously like, I can't turn it around in 2 days' time and go again. So I think that all those points together there's the reason behind the short rest.
I mean, I think short rests are great, and in terms of, I just think they're a really useful tool to stop you running too fast. Because if you give someone 6 times 5 minutes and you give them a minute rest, it's hard to run them like really, really too hard.
Yeah,
If you give them 2 minutes rest, then you can go and hammer that. And
yeah,
if the session gets even longer, like I'm normally getting most of my people up to like 40 minutes of volume for their threshold days, and they know that if I don't treat this with some respects and run it at the right intensity, I'm going to really suffer in the
yeah.
back end. And
Oh,
that puts, once they get it wrong a couple of times, they really, they don't want to repeat that experience. So
it's
I
actually
think
really
it's a great
like
tool.
demoralizing as well if you just like continually get slower throughout a session. Like it just like mentally as well. That's like just like why am I doing this, and just pack it in and go
Yeah,
home.
and 20 seconds rest. You don't want to go out too hard doing
Nah,
that, do you?
definitely not. Definitely not. And I think this session, I think I pitched it pretty well because all my reps were 328 or 329 for a K. So I was pretty pleased with that. My lactate was 2.8 and 3.2 after the second and the fourth rep. So actually, I think this was probably one of the best kind of sessions I've done where I've actually controlled the intensity and the threshold and the RPE, and kind of
I mean,
everything like, looked
that's an
good, like heart rate looked good. Yeah.
impressive control there in terms of the deviation of your splits. It's
Yeah.
literally 1 second
Yeah. One
over
second.
16 reps.
Yeah. So like I feel like I nailed it, to be fair. I was quite pleased with that. But
The
I
heart rate
finished.
was really stable as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Looking
Yeah.
through. No,
So
great.
no, trust.
How much of a step up is 16K of volume compared to what you were doing before?
Um so the 16K of volume isn't, so it is a step up, but it isn't. So I've gone from like a double threshold day where I do like maybe 8K in the morning and 10K in the evening. But obviously now I'm putting it all together in one session. So I guess like the actual volume for the day is hasn't changed, but it's all been placed into one session now. Um, so I guess that's kind of where the changes come from. I've been doing double threshold for like 3 years, so it's not like that's a new like that's a new stimulus either. Um, but actually, I do find I come off like it is definitely harder coming off like a 16K session all in one than splitting up in the day. Like you do
Yeah.
feel tired in the afternoon, and I was a bit like I'm not sure about like getting rid of all the double threshold, because I do think that's something that's worked really well for me, but I actually do think like it is just as challenging putting it all in one, and probably far more marathon specific, like
Yeah.
running for 16K all in one go rather than trying to split it up in the day. And I think it gives me probably more time to recover before the next session as well, because I've got that afternoon too.
Yeah.
um
I mean, it's definitely more marathon specific, isn't it? There was a
yeah.
paper that came out within the last year, and I can't remember it. I'll have to look it up and put it in the show notes, because someone in 3 months' time will ask if we can put it in the show notes, uh, which basically showed that if you're doing double threshold versus all the same volume in one day, you get a bigger um, protein synthesis response to doing it all in one big block
Yeah.
versus like breaking it up. And there's probably a balance there, because you don't want it to have too much of a stress on your body. But
Yeah.
if it's going to give you more benefits and be more specific to the marathon, then like doing a Norwegian single is probably a bit is going to give you better gains.
Yeah.
All other things being equal, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. And I think like we still got the one double threshold in our week at the moment. That will change like as of next week. Our like training plan changes completely in terms of how it looks. But at the moment, yeah, I'm shifting like a double threshold into one session. I think I've handled it quite well, so I'm pleased with that. So that was
Nice.
that was Tuesday morning, and then Tuesday evening, just a really easy 35 minutes with Dave. And then Wednesday morning, I did a rogue route on Wednesday. I went like out towards like Letcliffe and went on to the little trail loop that they've got there by the track. I just couldn't face running along the Taff again, so it's a bit of a rogue route. And I sort of weaved myself through sort of Pontcanna and through Llandaff and ended up at the Pure Gym on the Western Way. So that was Wednesday morning, run straight into an hour in the gym. Did kind of all my standard sort of stuff, plyos, sort of like a squat, a couple of hamstring exercises, some calves. I sort of said to myself before the session, I think I was a bit tired, but I'll just go in and do like one of each exercise and I'll leave. But I always know once I start, I have to complete it properly. So got the job done. And then I walked home. And then in the afternoon, I went out for a 38-minute run, because I had got in my head from our conversation the night before, Dan, that a 30-minute run was worthless. So
I didn't say worthless. I just said I just questioned the benefits.
So I added an extra 8 minutes onto this run for a 38-minute run, and I
with or without permission from Dave.
Without permission. So then I did get told off for it afterwards as well, but I blamed you. So
Fair.
he let it slip.
You ran within a meter of me, and you completely.
Oh yeah, that was the night.
Yeah. And I'm in like a fluoro yellow cycling like jersey to cycle to and from work. And I was like, "Hey Jen," and it's right in front of probably all the students that are in the lab I work in. I was like, "Hey Jen," and got nothing. Just
nothing.
You would have been like 37 minutes in, but
I was just ready. I was ready to stop by that point. I do that. I think I do that quite a lot with you. I think in the past I've ignored you, so I'm not very good at like. I'm just facial awareness. It's just not. It's not a thing for me.
I've got a bike helmet on as well.
Yeah, that's it. You've probably got your like sunnies on too.
Yeah.
Incognito. So that was Wednesday. Thursday morning, I drove up to Clara's and we went for a run together, which was nice because I hadn't seen her for like 4 weeks maybe. So
this is Clara Evans.
Yeah. Clara, with Clara Evans, Olympian. So did a 10-mile run with her, down sort of to Roath and then back up again. So it's a little bit hilly, probably a little bit quicker than I needed it to be as well because I was kind of cooked. But
has she given you any marathon tips yet?
No, I did message her like my first time I ran 20 miles and I was like, am I supposed to feel tired after this because I do? And she's like, yeah, that's fine. Like every 20-mile run's going to end feeling tired. I was like, good, okay. I'm doing something right. So that's the furthest her tips have gone. But I'm sure once I do the first one, I'll be able to like ask her loads of questions. I'm just a bit so naive to it at the moment. I haven't got a clue what I'm asking for.
Some naivety is good though, I think.
I think so. I always think like my first half marathon was probably like one of my best ever races because I was so clueless to what was to come. So I'm hoping I can take the same approach into the marathon. But yeah, did the 10-mile run with Clara, and then I came home and I got out our new Temu duck that we ordered to put in the bath with our new thermometer. And once it gets above a certain temperature, it doesn't only flash up like the temperature, but it also flashes up hot and starts like flashing red. So I'm sat in this bath and it's like flashing red duck screaming at me hot.
Have you cross-referenced it against anything else? Your Temu
no, I'm just
bath
thermometer. Just going off the way I'm feeling in the bath, and I'm like, yeah, I think this is right.
It's actually 50 degrees and your skin's peeling off.
Skin starts burning. I'm coming out red with blisters, but it's all good, guys.
I thought based on the photo on Strava that it was just one where like above 40 it just says hot, so it's completely useless above 40, but at least
we get the temperature as well. Yeah, it's just reminding me it's hot still.
The rough temperature.
Yeah,
Give or take 5 degrees. Just
hoping for the best. But I did manage 25 minutes this morning, so increase in 5 minutes, which is good. So I was chuffed about that. Did have my jelly babies lined up along the side of the bath again as well. So survived. And then in the afternoon, I did another. I was only 31 minutes actually in the afternoon, so I'm sorry, Dan, I did fail there, but managed to get in another. This is titled CBA, so I definitely didn't want to go out that afternoon, but got it done in the end. And that led us into Friday, where I did have a double. It was I'm going to say this is like a very loose double threshold day. The morning started with 6 by 6 minutes of 60 seconds jog, and then 6 by 30 seconds. I want to say I was running the 6 minutes, probably like 5:40 a mile. I went out a little bit hot, 5:35 for the first one, and my heart rate was a bit high, so I slowed down a bit, which I hate to do, but I'm getting better at it. So 6 by 6 minutes, and then 6 by 30 seconds, and I was quite surprised to see that I could still run 4:30 miling for 30 seconds, even though I haven't really touched any sort of speed for the last month. So I was happy about that. Haven't lost all my wheels.
This 100 meter race in Valencia.
Yeah, I still think I'm going to win it, guys. I'm sorry about getting the training in, and I don't know. I've not seen you guys do that sort of stuff, so I think I've got that one in the
bag. Dan's uphill plyos.
Yeah, I still reckon I've got them on a hill rep, So I did that. Ended up being 8.5 miles in the end, which was way further than I thought it was going to be. But I think once you add in like the jog recoveries, it actually ends up adding up to a lot more than you think. And I was quite tired on Friday, to be honest. And then I went out in the afternoon. I wanted to do a 25-minute LT1 run. Dave wanted me to do 20 minutes. So I came to the compromise of a 22.5-minute LT1 run. So 22.5 minutes at LT1. I think I averaged just over 6 minute miling. But I was a bit chefed up by this point, to be honest. So got to 22.5 minutes. I was like, I'm not even going to push the limits any further. I think I'm done. Jogged at home.
Did you take a lactate reading on that one, or?
Nah, I just went on heart rate on that one. Hoping it was probably about the right place. Jogged at home after that, and then had like a massive sleep on Friday night. Like, I think I was just a bit tired. Like, no alarms on Saturday morning is great because I just don't have to get up early, and it's like 10 o'clock by the time I get out of bed. It's fantastic. So I only did a 4-mile run on Saturday morning. That was it. Dave, I'll get to it at the end of my week, but Dave wanted me to run 105 or less miles. He's like, my maximum mileage I could run this week was 105. So I managed to come in with 104.99 miles.
Kept him the boundaries.
Yeah, he was like, how have you managed to do that? So he did cut my run short whilst we were out running on the Saturday, but I guess it worked in my favour because I managed to absolutely nail his target. And I got back from that run and did another 25-minute hot bath. And then it was time for Sunday. And I started this run. Do you know when you start a run and it's like, this is just going to be really long and I feel terrible, and I'm like 3 minutes in and I've got over 2 hours to go here, and 60 minutes of this is meant to be like at a relatively like harder intensity than just an easy run. That was me. And Owain took us up, like literally up a hill for the first like 4 miles of this run as well. So it was just not good from the start, to be honest.
You've got to get your 100 meters an hour in, haven't you?
I managed to get 100 meters in 20 minutes.
So you said on the run, you were like 10 minutes in, you were like, oh, I'm not feeling good, as you were like half stepping Dave and I.
That's like my natural reaction to like when I feel bad is just push the pace. I'm like, wow, it's not going to get done any quicker. I'm running on time, but like it's just like my instinct is like just try a bit harder.
So we did. I guess to be fair, we did do all of our climbing within the first 7K, but
I don't
know. We wanted
turn home was like back to the park was fine, and then we had 6 by 10 minutes of 60 seconds, and we did, I think it was 10 miles must have been 10 miles of the Bute loop. So 10 laps.
Yeah, did we do 10? Yeah, probably close to 10
Yeah,
laps.
10 laps of the Bute Loop, and it got
Jake
progressively.
Smith would not be impressed with that. He would not be impressed with that at all.
It's
6 by
better
10
than his.
minutes.
It's better than his loop. Let's be honest.
It's not honest running, though, is it?
It is when you've got to negotiate dogs, buggies, kids on scooters,
Yeah,
all these
this
other
was a
things.
nightmare. I think
Yeah,
we counted 5 dogs chased us.
yeah. There was one point where I was literally holding Ryan's hand because this dog was like coming right towards us. My natural instinct was to grab his arm.
You reckon he's going to protect you, do you? You've
Yeah,
seen the size of him.
I was good. Kept Jen between me and the dog.
yeah. I was the barrier.
It was, yeah. By the final lap, we were just. I think I was just like, I'm just fucking done with this loop.
You were trying to like figure out different ways to do the loop. I was like, no, just run. Let's just run a lap and we're done. But it ended up being 70 minutes easy, then 6 by 10 minutes off a minute jog. I think we must have averaged like, I think it was 6:12 a mile average for the 10-minute reps. So it was all right. It was more like it didn't feel like aerobically that hard, but it just like the legs just felt a bit battered. And it's like the longer it goes on, it's like, oh God, I don't know if I'm going to survive this. In my head, I was like, I'm just going to tap out after 3 reps. But then I was like, don't be such a pussy, Jen. Like, grow up. So got it done. I managed to get 7 jowls down me as well. So that was pretty good.
Yeah, that was impressive to watch.
Caffeine jowl, did not like that. So I think caffeine's out for the marathon guys. I just don't think I can do it.
Where did you take the caffeine gel? How far in?
Must have been about 45 minutes.
Yeah, 45, 50 minutes in.
Yeah, and I was holding it in my hand for about 20 minutes afterwards, trying to get it down. I was like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. Sorry.
I've never taken caffeine gels within a marathon. I just
I
just think it's risky, isn't it? Like, how are you going to feel? Not always the best for your stomach, and then the half life of caffeine is really quite long. So I always just will have caffeine beforehand, and then in a nicer form than a gel. And then I think it's like, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I remember looking at it before, and like actually the caffeine half life is that's why you can't have it like after. They say don't have it after midday because it's still going to be in your system at 7 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night when you're trying to go to bed. So yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of mid caffeine. I know people who have done it and it's been fine, but I've just never wanted to risk it.
We were saying, I was saying on like when Jen was taking it, like the was it the SAS like nootropics? It's like 200 milligrams, and which is obviously a massive dose, but like that's made me stop running. Like taking it, it's just too much. But I don't know whether there's anything with the like just taking a gel and like I guess it hits your gums as well, doesn't it? I don't know whether just the absorption rate or something, it just sort of, and doing exercise at the same time, it just really hits you. Like I know if I have a coffee, it doesn't really feel like it hits my head or anything, or like doesn't make me anxious. But if I have a caffeine gel during exercise, it's a smaller amount of caffeine.
The uptake rate is much quicker with a gel or like gum compared to like a coffee, I think. So certainly with a gum versus like a tablet, because you can be absorbed through the mucosal membrane, which is, and it's probably also the fact that you're just taking it pretty much pure instead of in coffee form, which is going to slow the absorption rate just because you've got liquid and other stuff in there.
Yeah, so I think I'm just gonna have to load up on the coffee before the race because
but just don't do an Owain pre
that was 600 milligrams.
600 milligrams.
Don't do that. Don't recommend.
So, but yeah, that was the Sunday long run. It was 20 miles. So I've had a few 20 milers now, so I'm quite confident with at least 20 miles of distance. It's just the rest I've got to worry about. But that's a problem for a late date. And then managed to drag ourselves to the gym at 4:30 on Sunday afternoon. I did title this gym date with Dave, and there's a really good picture of him on my Strava doing some calf isos as well on the machine, which he was not best pleased about, but managed to get it done to end the week. And that was, 104.99 miles. So absolutely nailed the assignment.
Yeah, good week. Big week.
Big week, yeah. So that's 3 weeks of like, I went 103, 107, 105, pretty much. So yeah, ready for a down week this week.
Do you think you've got basically 3 really big days in there, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
And I find that because often people are doing 3 sessions a week, aren't they, or 3 harder days? But it's when you combine the volume and the intensity. Like I find that I can't hack that anymore.
Yeah,
and I need to transition to just 2 days of quality because they're so big days.
Yeah, and that's what we're doing as of next week. We're going like Wednesday, Sunday, and the Wednesday just becomes like probably go up to like 12 miles of volume, and then the Sunday just becomes a little bit more sort of specific to marathon pace within long run. And then we're removing everything else, and the rest becomes easy. So I think that'd probably be a lot more manageable than last week.
Yeah, nice.
Or like just manageable over a long period of time. Like I can do what the week was, but it's like I don't know if I could repeat that for like 8 more weeks.
That's the thing, isn't it? That's the thing. And I think just paying attention to those warning signs and going, right, I know that this is probably not sustainable. We need to change something here to make it sustainable for another 8 weeks, I guess, plus taper.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
No, looking forward to that.
Though.
Yeah, good week. Yeah, we'll take it.
Owain, are you next?
Yeah, next. Monday morning, my normal loop. I don't know if you guys found this, but it was cold that Monday morning. It was like the first cold morning, so the tights came out, which was nice. Yeah.
I've not got my tights out yet. Maybe I should.
Yeah,
no,
and gloves.
It's got to be below 5 degrees for tights.
I think it was close. It was like 6 or 7 degrees.
The sun's probably not come up properly when you leave, has it?
No. Like Head Torch has made an appearance this week as well. So that was nice. No, I felt okay, like because I was obviously coming off the same long run as Jen, but the back of that head cold, and no, I felt pretty good actually on Monday. Nice morning, and then in the afternoon, the normal afternoon sort of 40-minute double, bumped into disco actually, which was quite nice. Good chat. But I did think I felt nice and easy, but my heart rate was a little high. Not like high, but like just a bit higher than it normally is. So I don't know. Just I think maybe the cold sort of lingering. I mean, to be honest, it's still now like I'm still getting slight like headaches, I think. So I don't know. Yeah, maybe don't get this cold if you can avoid it.
You think
it still sounds like just slightly nasally, I reckon.
Yeah, I don't. I think it's like a nasal infection or a sinus infection or something. Like because it's just literally all been in my nose, and I think that's where the headache's coming from. But like I feel absolutely fine. Just that. So yeah, I don't know. I just thought maybe still, like long run the day before where I wasn't 100%, probably pushing it a bit, doubling, but no, it was okay. It was fine. Yeah. And then woke up on Tuesday feeling all good. And my session was 3 by 6 minutes and then 8 by 3 minutes. So the aim was, and this was on the treadmill. The aim was the 6 minutes at sort of, I don't think we've ever discussed this on the podcast, but the way I sort of do zones, and I don't know if it's the same for both of you, like heart rate zones, is I have between LT1 and LT2, I split that into 2 zones. So for me, zone 3 is like up to sort of where like my heart rate would like average for a marathon. So it's basically, it's pretty much just halfway. Mm-hmm. And I sort of feel like it's a slightly different physiological effort, at least at the top of that, versus then the top of zone 4 is LT2.
Yeah.
I do think it's slightly different. I don't know. I think it's more a prescription thing rather than a physiology thing, maybe, because you're still accumulating lactate and you're above your first threshold in both the zones. But I just think it's slightly different. And I think for prescription of effort, I think it's kind of useful to split it up, because there is a big difference if you're at just above LT1 versus just below LT2, I think. So
Yeah.
yeah, then when it comes to prescribing training and like these 6 minutes, it's like, well, that sort of middle way between where that's top of zone 3 for me is what I'd aim for the 6 minutes, and then the 3 minutes just let my heart rate go up to LT2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we can, we could spend 2 hours just debating the different ways to split up training zones. Like once you get away from the physiological anchor points, like how many
David
ways
and
do you
I
skin a cat, sort of thing?
do that. We call it middling a lot. That's
Yeah,
like, yeah, my heart rate sits like bang in between my LT1 and my LT2.
yeah,
And we use it usually as a way to like make sure like I'm never going to overcook it. So we're never going to see a reading of like 5, but
yeah,
you'd always see like a reading of around 2.5 to 3.5.
yeah. Like I've called it. A friend mentioned it, like the idea of like calling it like lactate accommodation. So you are producing lactate, but not at the sort of rate and the not to the point where it becomes an unsustainable effort over an hour that you do at the top of LT2. But yeah, I think it's just a way to split training up. Also, the other thing that I think about it is that what you put in your, like we've done it on Training Peaks. You put in someone's threshold heart rate, and then it gives you like 3 zones above LT2. And I
Mm.
think for all three of us, actually, the way we train ourselves and the way we coach, like when we're rarely going above LT2, so why do we need 3 different zones? But then also, like, your heart rate behavior is going to be different based on the amount of time you're above that anyway. So I'm not sure a heart rate zone is the most useful. Whereas I think having that area between LT1 and LT2, having a bit more nuance to that, I think is more useful. But yeah, anyway, that would start a
Yeah,
massive debate.
I think this is where it progresses from, it transitions from science and physiology to
Yeah,
like practical applications and coaching, isn't it?
yeah,
Because yeah, you give someone their LT2 heart rate from a lab test and they go, right, so I'm going to target that intensity.
Yeah.
And that's probably not how you should be going about it. Like use that, like you said, that window between LT1 and LT2 and find a place in there that is sustainable. And I think
yeah,
aiming for that midpoint, Jen, is a great thing to do, and what most people should be doing and what most people don't do. I think they just go
yeah,
and target, right, my heart
Yeah.
rate is my LT2 heart rate is 170. I'm going to push it as close to that as I can. And then you end up having to slow down, or at the back end of a session, or go over it to stay in the
Yeah.
zone.
yeah. Like we can maybe come back to it on my other session because it's sort of relevant there as well. Like I use it then. But yeah, so that was the idea with this session. So the session itself was absolutely fine. Got 100 grams of carbs in. But partway through, Rachel was leaving for work and came to chat to me, and I'd gotten off the treadmill. And then I went to get back on the treadmill and put my foot too far on the belt that was still moving and got completely wiped out by the treadmill. Um, yeah, so I've got like a nice big friction burn down my back. Took most of the fall on my back and arm, but yeah, so I fell onto the belt and then got launched off the back at 17.5 kilometers an hour, which isn't ideal. And then I just, as soon as it, like the instant that I was going from, I guess vertical to horizontal, like the instant it happened, there wasn't like any panic. Like I just instantly knew like you fucked up, and then I was like, you absolute idiot! Like how have you done this? Like it's not hard to get back on a treadmill, but somehow I completely messed it up. So yeah, and then I just lay on the ground at the end of the treadmill for about a minute, and I was just like, what? As I like knew I hadn't hit my head, I hadn't hit my legs, so I was like, I think I'm okay. But I was lying there, and I was just like, you're such an idiot! Like you're not going to make it to Valencia if you keep doing this.
I'd love to
Um,
see live footage of this.
I know. Well, Rachel turned around and started to walk off as I went to get back on the treadmill, and then turned around again and was just like, "Why are you on the floor at the end of the treadmill?" Um, yeah. So no, not ideal. I think as I'm getting older as well, like falling is like just feels more and more unnatural every time I fall, because I fall off my bike occasionally as well when I'm cycling to work. Yeah, part of getting old, I think. But
You have to get
no,
one of
so
those buzzers around your neck. You can
I know.
press
Yeah, the emergency button.
it.
I mean, I probably need one in the garage, to be honest, because like this morning it was dark in there most of the time I was in there as well. So yeah, but no, it was frustrating and wasted some time because these are quite time limited. and my back still slightly hurts, but no, all good. Finished the session after that. And then, yeah, ran in the afternoon. And I think, to be honest, the morning, like falling off the treadmill, finishing the session, rushing into work, and then I was a little bit stressed at work. I think in hindsight, I probably shouldn't have run because I just got home and I just felt a bit like, I don't know, just that like, just anxious, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, so my heart rate was a bit high on the afternoon run, but I just got home, just ate a big dinner, got an early night after we recorded, and yeah, felt all right on Wednesday. So I think it was just a bit of work stress and falling off a treadmill in the morning. Probably two reasons to not double, but yeah, no, the session was all right. So yeah, Wednesday morning, just an hour easy. Had to change my loop because both sides of the TAF trail were closed, which is really annoying. Yeah, so that wasn't ideal. I sort of had to make this loop up on the fly. And then I finished outside my house and I was like, I've still got 5 minutes to go to get to an hour. So I had to run up and
I
down.
was going to say you've done very well to wing it and get to exactly an hour.
No, I had to, yeah, I was running up and down outside to get to an hour. I mean, my road, like on my road, you can run like sort of 2 minutes down and then turn around and come back. So I wasn't just doing 20 seconds outside. I mean, I think my neighbors still think I'm mental, but yeah. The same on Thursday. Yeah, so same loop in the morning. Sat on like the Ely Trail, which is quite nice. And then in the afternoon, afternoon double with Rachel, which was really nice. Felt really autumnal, which is really nice.
That
And
picture's
felt
nice.
yeah, that's on that path that we ran on today. Yeah, and just really still evening on the TAF and like turning really orange and nice, which was cool. Yeah, and I felt way more relaxed. So at this point, I was sort of like, yeah, just a bit of work stress on Tuesday, and yeah, feeling all good. So then Friday morning, wanted to do a bit of a longer session. So it was 3 by 18 minutes. I did put this into my Garmin, but then my watch didn't sync, which is really annoying. But so the plan was the first one, just do 18 minutes straight through. And then on the second and third 18-minute blocks, I would do 13 minutes at that sort of zone 3. So that halfway between the midway point between LT1 and LT2. And then the last 5 minutes, then let my heart rate go up to LT2. So just push a bit harder in the last 5 minutes of each of these 18-minute blocks. My thinking was like, ideally I would have done I mean, there's probably only a K in it, but like, an hour's worth of work, or maybe even like an hour and 10's worth of work. But I thought, well, if I push a little bit harder at the end of the reps, it sort of maybe works on that durability a bit. Sort of just picking up the pace, recruiting some more like type 2 muscle fibers. I was having gels, but going to be like maybe a little bit glycogen depleted. Like, I don't think we don't have an answer for how you build durability right, but I think that's maybe one way to go about it. And one way to maybe, maybe, I don't know, just again, getting away from the physiology, but sort of build that like marathon sort of resilience of like towards, when I get to 50 minutes into the session and then I have to pick it up to LT2, I think that maybe has some, even if it's like psychophysiological benefit. But yeah, no, I thought this went well. So the first rep I had to wear a head torch. Which is interesting, running hard with a head torch on, but it actually went okay. The benefit of wearing a head torch means that there's not many people out. So that was quite nice. Yeah. But no, I think the session went really well. I think on all of them, I kept the same pace, like going entirely by heart rate, so not looking at pace. I was pretty happy with that as a session. Sort of 54 minutes worth of work, I think. Is that maths right in my head? Yeah, it is. No, so good sort of longer session. I was pretty happy with that. And then when I jog back, there's an old guy that lives around here that cycles like on this like battered mountain bike, and I see him every day, like every morning. And I saw him as I was finishing, and he like shouted at me as he rode past, like, "Race your back," sort of thing. So I had to like push my cool down a bit to not lose to this old bloke.
So
Um,
competitive.
um, then Saturday morning, just an hour easy. Finished at the bakery again. Um, it's on my Strava, but apple crumble, shortbread slice, 8 out of 10. That was pretty good. Yeah, feeling pretty good as well. Like, yeah, nice chilled morning, which is nice. And then yeah, just preparing for Sunday. I think I sort of knew like 6 by 10 minutes, like yeah, it's 60 minutes of work, but in my head it's like, oh, it's just above LT1, like it's fine, sort of thing. But um, yeah, so I met Dave just before we met you, Jen,
Yeah.
and we got
I
five
was
minutes into our
about
jog.
this.
Yeah, we got 5 minutes into our jog, and I said, oh, like, are we meeting Jen in a sec? Thinking that Jen was doing 2 hours and me and Dave were doing 2 hours 15. And he was like, oh no, we're doing 15 before we meet Jen. And I was like, oh, how far are we going then? And he was like, oh, this is the 2.5 hour group. So I was like, oh, okay, bonus 15 minutes of my run or for the day. Yeah, and then yeah, then I took us up to Thornhill and dropped myself on the way up the hill. Um, yeah, well, I guess we can debate whether Jen dropped me and Dave, or I think I somewhat intentionally dropped myself to not
Dave
spike.
was alongside me for most of that. To
Yeah, I was like, I'll let you guys go ahead. I know when we're turning. Yeah, so no, and then yeah, the 6 by 10 minutes they were like you said, Jen. Like there wasn't anything that was necessarily like I need to stop, but it was just tough. And I think 2 reps in, I was a bit like, this is going to be a long session.
Mm.
Um, and then I think after the third one, I think we were both like, let's slow it down a little bit. I think we only slowed it down by like 2 seconds a K. But I think to be fair, it was the first few minutes we took a lot more chill,
Yeah.
and I think that really helped. Like not pushing it too hard early in the 10 minutes. Um, yeah, and I don't know, like maybe my heart rate was a little higher than I wanted, but it was still I think I averaged like sort of that midpoint again, so midway between LT1 and LT2, just probably about right for me for these. And yeah, 130 grams of carbs, which wasn't enough. I think, yeah, I'd have taken at least one more, if not two more gels.
But just take one when I take one. You'll be fine then.
Yeah, I know. I need to. I've got another order for Precision to go in to get more gels. Like I normally go with the 90-gram pouches because I think they're
Yeah.
really useful. But then seeing you just be able to like just pull out a 30-gram gel and just smash it, I was a bit like, oh, maybe that's the way to go to make sure I get enough in.
It's easier to keep track of.
Yeah. Whereas yeah, with the 90-gram, you're just sort of swigging it and hoping for the
Yeah.
best. But no, good session. I was tired at the end of that, and then yeah, tired on Monday. I think I said to I think I've said to both of you like if there was another session like that this coming weekend, I probably wouldn't do it. I'd just run easy, but like I'm just running easy anyway. But I do think you're really risking with some of these sessions. Like if you go slightly too hard, it can then wreck like 3 or 4 days off the back of it. Like really wreck. Like it's definitely impacted Monday and Tuesday for me. And I think had we pushed much harder, I think it would have been like, okay, I'm not sessioning on Tuesday. So it's maybe the risk with doing sessions at the end of long runs, but
Yeah. I think
yeah,
And
it's
just big sessions in general, isn't it? I
yeah,
think. I mean, where you, as both of you were talking through that session, like you were both saying how you were pretty fatigued straight from the start. When do you make the decision to go, you know what, it's not worth doing it today? And when do you go, right, actually, this is one where I just need to push through it? How do you make, did that thought cross your head when you were in the long run?
I think for me it comes down to like how much harder is it getting throughout? If it's getting progressively harder, but I'm not getting any quicker, I'm just getting slower. My heart rate's going up, but and everything's feeling worse and worse as it goes on. Then I'd probably be like, it's probably not the day to do this. I'm going to just sack it off now. But if it's just like a stable kind of, my legs are tired, but actually nothing else is suggesting to me that this is like I'm pushing myself over the limit, then I'll probably just like suck it up and like just keep going. I think sometimes it's more about keeping your ego in check. Like, yeah, I'd love to be running a bit quicker, but actually, if I we backed off a little bit, like a couple of seconds, okay, and it makes the difference to being like, okay, I can complete this now. I'm probably going to come out of it absolutely fine. I think sometimes it's like you go into it with an expectation of I'm going to hit this pace, and then on the day, actually, that's not realistic. It's just what do you want the outcome of this to be? We want to run at around LT1, just below it for 60 minutes. You know what that's going to look like with your heart rate, with your RPE. That's the box you want to tick. It doesn't really matter what the pace is coming out as. I think that's kind of more how I look at those sort of workouts.
Yeah, I think this is maybe one where, like, if we do any of these sessions again, we like I mean, I know we joke about it, but like maybe slightly less hills early on, because it's like, yeah, the first 25 30 minutes we're going uphill, and then we turn around and come downhill. That downhill sort of maybe masks the fact that, like, actually, yeah, like it's feeling hard today. But then, as you said, at the same time, like, we're going off of heart rate in the session. And yeah, like my heart rate was like, yeah, when I'm like, if we did that session again 3 weeks out from Valencia, like hopefully my heart rate's a bit lower, but my heart rate was still pretty stable throughout. Like, it wasn't just constantly drifting up.
Yeah.
It was just a little bit higher. And I do think at the end of long runs, like, heart rate's going to be higher and pace is going to be a lot slower. Like, I mean, I think back in June, I did like 20 minutes hard at the end of a long run, and like was barely breaking like 4 minutes a K at like LT2 sort of thing. It was just like, that was just the first one I'd done, and it was just tough to push hard after 2 hours. Whereas now I already, like, we're running way faster than that, and like quite substantially lower heart rate. So it's definitely having an impact as well. Yeah, no, I do. It's really hard to know, and we're the ones doing it. So then, yeah, like if you're trying to coach someone to do it, it's even harder, isn't it? It's really tough.
Yeah, I think that's when it becomes a decision for the athlete, isn't it? Because only they know how they really, really feel. And it's also been having experienced, is this going to have too much of an impact on the next few days? Or am I actually going to bounce back and be okay? And sometimes, like recently, is what for me, I've felt like I'm going to be really in a hole the next day and I'm fine. And other times I think, well, actually, that was great. Finish the run, feel pretty good. And the next day I'm really flagging.
Yeah. And I think like it's okay to have like one day where perhaps like you do a hard long run or whatever, and then the next session doesn't go great. But if that's like a continual pattern as well, I think that's like a red flag. You're like, okay, this isn't sustainable, because each time I've gone out to another session, I'm just a bit more cooked than I was the last time.
Yeah, definitely. There's always going to be ebbs and flows to a marathon block, but it's looking for that. If you're having a string of just bad sessions, every run feels bad.
Yeah.
And you need to address it, don't you?
Definitely.
Yeah, like I even during that, I knew, like, okay, this week probably it might even end up being like 10K less, just like it's going to be a slightly shorter long run, and like maybe like the Friday session isn't quite as long. So it's not a down week, but it's like last week was a like sort of push, and then this week is like, okay, like
You want to like consolidate and absorb what you've done as well.
Yeah, and then I know, like, then in a few weeks I've got a half coming up, so that'll be like a reduced week as well. So yeah, it's sort of picking your battles and picking when you attack and when you're a bit more conservative, I guess. Yeah, you can't always be pushing and going for it. You do have to, have the I don't know, even just a bit like the self-reflectiveness to be able to say, okay, like, back off now, sort of thing.
Yeah,
Definitely. I think that's a skill that you get as you get a bit older as well, and a bit older and wiser and less rash. But it's really hard, isn't it? Especially when you're coaching yourself. I think that is where a coach does help, just actually tell people to just back off and listen to your body, do a bit, if in doubt, do a bit less. So in that risk reward ratio, doing a little bit less is always going to be a million times better than doing a bit too much and ending up overtrained, ill, or injured.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Tough week, but well, yeah, I think pretty good week. 144K, which probably going to be one of my bigger weeks. Yeah, like there might be one or two that get close to that, but I don't think there'll be many. But yeah, no, pretty happy, I think.
Nice.
Good
Dan?
week. Good
Yeah,
week. Yeah, me.
done.
So speaking of runs that you think felt pretty good, and then the next day you're in a bit of a hole. That was my Monday. So I did 32k. I did on a Sunday. I'd done 32k, 402 a k, pretty comfortable intensity. And then the next day I was really tired. So purposely like didn't have any data showing on my watch. So I think I literally just had music playing and a map. So went out for 75 minutes, got back and realized I averaged 408 a k, and that was quite a lot faster. And I was one of those ones where you think, oh, actually, it's gonna be 420, 425 a k, and it was 408s, and my average heart rate was 120, and I thought, oh, gee, I'm doing all right here. So that was, yeah, it's just sort of a mismatch between how I felt and the pace. I felt really like I was sluggish, but pace came out all right and heart rate pretty good. So that was Monday morning. In the afternoon, sort of pretty much exactly the same. Didn't feel amazing, but ran 45 minutes and averaged 405 a k. Average heart rate 122, which is pretty much as low as it's ever been, which I'm either overtrained and in a hole or I'm very fit.
I was going to say, I mean, you're just fried.
Yeah, maybe I'm just completely, yeah. I guess that's something worth talking about briefly is that if you are a bit overtrained, you can like suppress your heart rate because you get a reduced like adrenaline response to exercise and training. You just can't activate your sympathetic nervous system. And so you might be that you're a bit overdone, bit in the oven, as Owain would say. But you've also got to just match that up with feelings of or perception of how you're feeling. How's your performance level doing?
I don't
And
think
yeah,
I don't think you can ever use one metric really. You've got to use it
no,
in combination with a lot, like with the other things, like how you're feeling, what pace
exactly.
is saying, what the heart rate's saying. There's so many, you can't just take one thing as the reason.
Yeah, even like blood markers in isolation, they don't tell you that much. If your bloods are awful but you feel fine, you're
Yeah,
probably fine.
yeah.
Um, so, and there's always, as you said, there's always going to be day-to-day variation in how you're feeling over the course of a week when you're in a marathon block. So yeah, good Monday, good start to the week, 2 hours of running. Tuesday, so I need to put out a bit of an apology to Jake Smith for ripping him for his loop last week because I think he took it a bit personally, and it wasn't personal. I can see why he does it. It's a good loop in terms of you're not obsessing about splits or paces. It's a bit more organic. It feels quite fun. You less fighting with the dogs around the mile loop in Bute Park. So
No,
I was back there.
I,
Go
Barriers and
on.
guards
I
and
have
stuff.
as many problems with dogs under the M4 at 7 a.m. as I do in Butte Park. So I'm more prepared to
Yeah.
say it's not a good loop. Like I don't know. Do we have to put a photo of the gate that you go through on Insta? Like you literally have to shimmy through a gate. Like in fact,
Yeah.
Joel's put that as one of the comments, doesn't he, on your run?
We
I
only
like that you got all of the criticism for Jake's loop on your on your Strava, just
we only
immediately.
yeah, well, we were back on the loop. We were back on the loop, and we did what did we do? 6 by a mile of 400 steady. So very similar to the week before. Um, actually felt really good for this. Last week I felt good but tired, and this week I felt great. Jake didn't drop me this time, stayed on his heels the whole way, even pushing up the last hill. I was like, no, it's fine, I can go with this. Average the same pace, 314, pretty much as last week, but heart rate was quite a bit lower. Felt really 153 average for the whole thing. Peaked at that's really but it was yeah below LT2, so 166 peak, and my LT2 heart rate is normally 170. Some variation in the splits, but basically averaging between 309 a k and 302 a k for the efforts, and then keeping the 400 jog steady at basically 345 a k, 6 minute mile pace, give or take. So yeah, came off that pretty confident that I wasn't overtrained in a hole. I was in a good place. That was nice. And then in the evening, 4 o'clock, went to do a second session. I was going to do 20 times 400 off 30, but the day before I just had things like, not pain, but like just an awareness like in my adductor, which is why I didn't do my plyometrics and strides the day before. So I just thought doing 400s, going straight out the door in 68s and faster, which was what I would have wanted to run them in, would have just been a bit too much. So I thought, right, I'll be a bit more conservative, build into the session. If it's going all right, I'll push the pace on in the second half. So ran the first one in 3 minutes and didn't have any awareness at all. So just kept pushing on the pace a little bit. The first 5 I did off a minute and I ran them. Let's find the splits here. Wasn't quite a perfect progression, but it was pretty close. So around 2:59, 3 minutes, 2:58, 2:58, 2:57 for the first 5. Is that 5? I think so. And then thought, all right, I want to push on a bit more, but let's take a bit longer recovery just to facilitate that. So went 2:56, 2:54, 2:54, 2:52, and 2:50 for the last one. And yeah, that's felt like really good. Heart rate again was super low. I think I only just went over LT2 heart rate at the end. 173 I peaked at. I was certainly breathing for first rep. I think it's just the nature of K reps, and we're only running for 2 minutes 50 seconds. Heart rate isn't going to get super high, even if you're a fair chunk past LT2. But for me, unlike you, Jen, I haven't got loads of speed and loads of top end, and just to be able to go and run 250 for a K at the end of a session and not be completely on the floor ruined afterwards at the end of a 36K day or something like that, I was pretty happy. So that gave me a lot of confidence that Tuesday.
What is 250K for you? Is that like 10K pace? Like what? Like it's like above your
It's pretty
altitude.
much 5K pace.
5K
14.
pace.
Well, it's 14:10 for 5K, and I've run 14:05. So yeah, felt good. And I obviously I didn't take any lactates on this, but I was definitely past LT2 by the second half. But that was a little bit deliberate in that I've got Cardiff half coming up. I wanted just a little bit of intensity in there. And it's managed intensity, like you were saying, Owain, like doing a bit more controlled at the start of the session and build into it. I did feel very in control for the first 5. Again, heart rate in a good place. Didn't take any lactates, but I don't think there'd have been anything crazy for those first 5. And I think because I don't have any fast twitch fibers, I just need a bit of that stimulus to feel mechanically good. Because I've run a half. My average pace, my half marathon PB is 3:02 a K. So I need to be I think I need a little bit faster than that.
A bit of a buffer
just to make that feel a bit more comfortable. Or even just psychologically going into a half marathon thinking, I want to run 3-minute Ks for a half. That sounds quite hard. But if I can go and run 250s, it sounds a bit more manageable.
Yeah, 100%.
Fresh on race day, taper, good conditions maybe.
In behind you.
Yeah.
That 10 to 12 days out, I think, is a good spot as well to do that intensity, isn't it? That's worked for me. And
again, this week I didn't mind pushing it a bit, knowing that I was going into a more of a down week, taper into Cardiff half. So I didn't mind being a bit more tired even if I was a bit more tired than I wanted to be at the end of a week, because I'm going to have a very light week this week into a race. So yeah, that was a really good session. Really happy with that. That brings us to Wednesday. So I did 75 minutes in the morning, 4:17 a K. In the afternoon, I did 45 minutes, 4:22s. And then I did some home gym stuff again with Jemima in the evening. I wanted to get to the gym today. I found a gym that's 1.5 miles from my house. It's £5 to go. I don't need a membership. I just didn't find the time to get there. There's just too much going on. I could have sacrificed a run, but I wasn't prepared to sacrifice a run for a gym session. So
never sacrifice.
And I figured also that I could, get back into the weight room properly this week, but then I wouldn't do it the week of Cardiff half. So I might as well just wait until after Cardiff half. Might as well just wait till after Valencia, mightn't I? And at
Yeah,
this
maybe
rate,
start on the new year actually. Why just
yeah,
just
you know what? New
through?
year, new me. Yeah, but anyway, we did 40 minutes of stuff. I think it's pretty enough to not go backwards at least. Some Bulgarian split squats, a bit of core stuff, some kettlebell swings, just nothing too specific, just generic. But
Yeah.
for me, considering I haven't actually got under a barbell in probably 2 months now, it's it's fine. It's fine. An area for me to work on. Um, Thursday, uh, again, 75 minutes in the morning, 409 a K, 118 heart rate. And then, whatever, my Strava's playing up here, 40 minutes in the evening. Again, still having a little bit of adductor awareness. So just didn't want to add in strides or anything like that. Just why risk it? When it's not going to do it. One week of doing strides is going to do nothing for my economy. But if I actually do some damage, then
Yeah.
that's going to have a massive impact on Cardiff half and beyond as well. So just trying to play it sensible there. Friday then wanted some redemption after my DNF for my 40k run the other day. So what was that, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, something like that. So I went out to do 40k at a good pace, started a bit more conservatively. So I think last time I went out straight out of the door at like 424, 422 a K, where I started at 332 for my first K, and I think that was the only one outside 330. Out and back along my canal path, averaged 327 a K for the whole thing. This was one where a bit like you guys, I felt tired from the start and thought it was going to be a long day, but was just happy to
Get it ticked off.
reduce the intensity a little bit if I needed to go get through it. My heart rate average for this was 143 beats per minute, and I think if I was just going off of heart rate, I'd have wanted it to be closer to 150, but legs and just body and so mentally just couldn't push much harder and didn't feel like I really needed to push much harder to get a good training response in. Heart rate, just it did drift. It was definitely drifting. So I was getting some sort of durability stimulus, I hope, from that. I got up to 156 at the end there. But still struggling with my gels. Still, like I took 3 gels, one at 8, 16 and 24k, planned for one at 32k and just couldn't face it. Was feeling a bit nauseous. I've got home and was checking the dates on these gels, thinking maybe they're out of date. I don't know, but they weren't. They've got 6 months still in date. Just really struggling with them. So this was the Morton ones I've been using. I'm gonna go back to SIS Beta Fuel because that's what I've used for my last few marathons, and see if that makes a difference. Because at the minute, I mean, I was glad that I felt like I really didn't need the gels, but on race day, I'm going to want to take the gels on. So I need to get to the bottom of that, which is still got loads of time to get to the bottom of that question, but it's a little bit of a worry for me at the minute.
Is it
because everything else seems to be going really well.
Like, is it that you can't like mentally stomach it, or is it if you take it, it's gonna come back out?
Yeah. Well, I felt like if I'd taken a fourth, I would have been sick, and then immediately after, like for the like hour and a half, 2 hours afterwards, I was feeling like, yeah, I could be sick here. And I've only taken 3 gels. And historically, that would have been absolutely fine.
Interesting.
I have, like I said, I have been using Morton since January, February, but I haven't really done that many long, hard sessions with them. It's more been like in between like intervals and stuff. So maybe that's just because I don't get on with them and I haven't really come across a situation where I'm really stressing my GI tract in training. But yeah, I've got some SIS that are hopefully arriving this week and I'll give them a go. If not, it'd just be AT style, going in, no gels, just a really good carb load and praying and
Hope
hoping.
Have you tried the precision stuff? Because it's working for me and Jen.
I haven't. I've never tried them, so that's another option.
they're
I,
easy to
I,
swallow.
Yeah, I
but
don't
you
know.
do
Like,
have to physically chew through the Morton ones, don't you? I'm not the
They're
best at
Morton
swallowing
are
them.
good though because they've got electrolytes in.
Which one, sorry?
Morton, they've got like electrolyte in them. So like if you're not taking bottles whilst you're running a marathon, like you're still getting that like electrolyte, whereas
Yeah,
precision, but um, that's like that's the benefit I think of Morton.
yeah. I think I just need to trial some others and see if that helps. I've got plenty of time. But anyway, 40k, good pace. Again, felt like a day when I was a bit fresher, I could have pushed that quite a lot harder and still been good. But I definitely did notice that going past LT2 on the Tuesday did have a knock-on effect on the rest of the week, and that I just felt pretty tired all week, including that 40k. Whereas if I'd run more at 3 minutes, I don't think I'd have had that issue. You definitely fatigue so much, or we know you fatigue much,
Like,
much
but it's
quicker
such
to a
a big.
greater extent once you go past your threshold.
Yeah, you don't even. It's not. You don't even need to tip a lot over it for it to have like a massive dent on how you feel
Yeah,
coming off
yeah.
it.
I reckon 257 a Ks, I would have been fine. But
Yeah,
getting down to the low 250s, it's different ball
different
game.
rate.
Especially when if I was to go and run a K, if I was to go run a K flat out, I don't think I'm going much under 240. So
Yeah,
I'm pretty close to the limit
close.
there.
Yeah,
But anyway, 40k solid. So that it was a pretty quick turnaround because um, that afternoon we headed off to Broadhaven in Pembrokeshire, West Wales, for a long weekend with Jemima's family, which was really nice. So Saturday morning, 10k on the coast path. So I had a comment on my 40k run that they were impressed that I only got 39 meters of elevation in 40k because I was literally running up and down the canal. On the Saturday, 10k, 229 meters of elevation. It's not what my legs needed after 40k the day before.
oh, that's not really recovery, is it?
No, average pace 502 a k, grade adjusted pace 435 a k.
I've run along that road before. I've stayed up in Newgale. So you went past the like it is a druid's house, isn't it? It's
Yeah, that's
like
it exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's so unbelievably hilly.
It was
It's,
really tough. It was
yeah.
really tough. And I took this pretty easy because I knew I don't do much climbing, and I knew my legs were going to be really tired. It was more just to keep moving rather than actually get any training effects. So I think my average heart rate was, well, let's find it here. It was very low. I don't think it was much over 100, to be honest.
100.
108. So yeah, I was feeling a bit sorry for myself on Saturday morning. Sunday then I did started out on the coast path and I did 40 minutes with Jemima. So we just did 20 minutes out, 20 minutes back, to keep her company. And then I quickly went onto the road and ran to Haverfordwest and back. So I just went out and back to get up to 30k. It was still undulating, but a lot less hilly than the coast path. And again, I just had a adductor and just a minor knee pain, which I don't know it's from running on the trails the day before, or well, actually I do know that I was in the sea with Nye, freezing. It's freezing cold. He's normally a bit of a wimp when it comes to the sea and going in the water, but today he decided no, he's got his first wetsuit. He wants to go all the way in, so I'm basically up to my thighs in the water, trying to make sure he doesn't drown. And then we decide we're going to do games on the beach. So we're doing like triple jump and long jump on the beach, and I can just when your legs are freezing cold, but what I don't want to do is anything explosive and plyometric. And I could just feel a bit of soreness come in through my knee then. And it was just a reminder, like, Dan, you're doing all this training, don't be stupid, because I could so easily like see myself doing like, snapping an ACL, tearing an Achilles just from doing triple jump on the beach, which I'm
Make
not built for
great
because I've got no
episode.
power spring, etc. So yeah, was very keen to keep it on the roads and as flat as possible on the Sunday. So 2 hours 20 minutes, 403 meters of elevation gain, 440 a k. It's quite a bit slower, but actually most of that was just because we did 40 minutes at 6:14 a k along the coast path, and then I did an hour 40 at 4:14 a k on the undulating road. And I was, again, it was one of those ones where it was just a long day, but I knew that an easier week was coming up, and I could afford to push through a little bit to get me to 202k for the week. I think it was 127 miles, pushing 14 hours, and then 1,000 meters of climbing, which was basically just for 2 runs on the weekend. So yeah, it was a good week. Took some confidence from it, but
Yeah.
definitely needed a bit of needed some easier days into Cardiff to sort of absorb it, especially because the last 3 weeks have gone. Well, last 4 weeks it was 155k with Cardiff 10k in there as well, 185, 191, and then 202. So I definitely couldn't sustain 202k weeks back to back, but with knowing that an easy week was coming up, I was happy to push on a bit and probably try and get back into the mid 180s after Cardiff half, depending on how well I recover.
Back to the safe zone of 180.
The safe zone. Well, I'm also
Anything
going to
over.
try and be smart with it. My plan is to be smart with it because after Cardiff half, there's, I think I worked out there's
Be 9 weeks.
9 weeks.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks taper, so that's 7 weeks. So I'm thinking 2 blocks of 3 weeks with a down week in there halfway through to sort of, it probably won't be a down week. I'll probably keep in like two good sessions, but I'll have a couple of days where I just jog for 40 minutes to just make sure that I'm not getting myself too overcooked. We'll see how it goes. It could. That's my plan at the minute. Try and be sensible, but
Yeah,
best laid plans.
The discussion of you versus Jake Barclough on that Let's Run thread said your approach is train smarter, not harder. So
so when I think I'm about to make a stupid decision, that's what I think. I go, what would Jake do? Let's do the opposite to that. Because I can't put my body through 280k weeks or whatever. I just know that would be a recipe for disaster. So I've got to play the smart game.
Start introducing triple days
or 70k runs.
Yeah.
No, none of those things are happening. None of those things are happening.
I do like that in the same week, I fell off a treadmill and was like, I need to be smarter. I'm not going to make it. And you went in the sea and were like, I need to be smarter. I'm not going to make it to Valencia.
Yeah. That's the sort of thing will get me. It won't be a training mistake. It will be doing something stupid like chucking an eye in the air and falling over and breaking an ankle or something like that. I hope hopefully none of those things will happen, but if it does, it will be something stupid.
Watch this space, people.
Yeah.
3 good weeks, I reckon.
Yeah.
3 good weeks.
Do we have time for a listener question? There was a quick one. Well, maybe quick one.
Yeah, go on. Let's
This was because I think it's good, and I think we've all spoken about it. This was Aaron on my Strava. He asked, how do we all decide what volume of like work, as in non-easy mileage, we do in a week? And does it depend if you're planning on going closer to LT1 or LT2, which it does. It definitely depends on the intensity of it, doesn't it? Like, we probably could have done, you could probably do 6 by 10 minutes at LT1 4 times in a week, couldn't you? But could do a lot less at LT2. So it's that spectrum, isn't it? But I guess I don't know. How do you guys decide?
I mean, I'm always looking at like, where am I now, how am I handling that? Can I push on from where I am, or is it just stay the same? And at this point, it's mostly just stay the same. Like there's a bit of a transition when you're going from, for me, when I'm going from just generic training to being in a specific part of a marathon block. But then also I end up doing more stuff around LT1 in a marathon block. So there's an obvious trade-off between duration and intensity. So if you reduce the intensity, you can do a bit more. So like that 40K run, actually, I only spent like 10 minutes above LT1 in it. So in some ways, the intensity was quite low, but obviously the training stress is quite high because you're doing so much of it. So I'm not giving you a clear answer there, but I think seeing where your starting point is a really good point and a really good place. And then how are you tolerating that? Being honest with yourself and going, right, my best prediction, how will I cope if I change the intensity? I always think just doing the same pattern every week, you get to really know your body.
Yeah.
I think like you've got to take into consideration like everything else you're doing outside of running as well, in terms of like how much intensity you're then putting into your week, alongside like how many miles you run in a week as well. Because you only run 50 miles a week, then obviously like the trade-off there is that the amount of time you're going to spend at a certain intensity is going to be less than someone that runs 100 miles a week. And also, if you've got a really busy job, like the stress from that also has to be calculated into like the total stress of like your training too.
Yeah, and I think also like you both said, like having a structure and knowing how it fits in. Like I know that on a Tuesday I just want 40 minutes, probably mostly closer to LT2, but then in the moment that interacts with what I've done on Sunday, which like we said at the start doesn't fall into the 7-day window, but that does interact with Tuesday. And then really like probably interacts with the Friday the week before as well. So if you had a really big Friday, then maybe your Tuesday following is a bit smaller. Or, you saying this week, Dan, you've got Cardiff Half coming up, so you push your Tuesday afternoon a bit. So that's a race 12 days out, 14 or 12 days out that's interacting with your session then. So everything sort of is interconnected as well. And you just need to, sort of have an eye on like everything and how that session interacts with everything else. I think like having a structure. I think having a structure is just makes it so much easier. Like if you know Tuesday, Friday you're sessioning and you know that you want 40 to 60 minutes work, and it's like if it's at the 60-minute end it's going to be closer to LT1, and if it's at the 30 to 40-minute end it's going to be closer to LT2. That does a lot of it for you. And then really it's like, how do I divide this up?
And just how you feel on the day as well. I always prioritize the duration over the intensity, rightly or wrongly. So if I'm feeling that if I've planned to do 60 minutes of work and I'm feeling pretty tired that day, but not tired enough to bin the session, then I'll just start a bit more conservatively and build into it rather than going straight for that midpoint between LT1 and LT2.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Sort of answered it, sort of haven't. There's some intuition, isn't there?
Individual as well. It's like so individual to that person and like what their training history is.
Yeah. I mean, start at lower volumes, see how you respond to that. If that feels okay, increase the volumes. But if NF, always be a bit more conservative and adapt based upon how you're feeling on the day. That'll be my summary.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good summary.
Nice.
Anything
else?
I was going to say, what have we got coming up? Because I think this is a big week coming up.
A big week. We got the Cardiff Half.
That wasn't the reason I said a big week.
That's the biggest thing happening I've heard out of our lives in the next week.
Getting married.
Congrats, Jen and Dave.
Yeah. I know you can't say congrats yet.
Oh, yeah.
He might still walk out.
Good luck.
Out still. So yeah, no Cardiff Half for me this year. Had to, the wedding took priority, I'm afraid.
What day?
Saturday.
Nice. So you could have done it.
Could have done, but you know what? I think I just don't think I'll be quite in the right shape to do it on the Sunday morning.
You'll be on an absolute high.
Yeah,
You'd run
no,
69 minutes. It'd be
or
great.
I'm sick in a gutter 1 mile in. Either or.
You'll probably find there'll be a bunch of people that weren't actually at your wedding that will have like shit runs at Cardiff Half, and then be like, "Oh, I was at Jen's wedding the day before."
Suddenly the same people are all using the same excuses.
Yeah, 15 people, and you're like, "They weren't there."
Yeah, you're not my friend.
Nice.
So yeah.
Any plans this weekend, then, Owain?
I'm gonna. Well, I might watch Cardiff Half. I'll see what the weather's like. I'm probably gonna do my long run on the course, but no, nothing else planned. I'm gonna jump on the course whilst it's closed, make the most of
The best way to do it.
and then maybe run back home if it's raining. But no,
It's going to be beautiful weather. It's going to be 2-mile-an-hour winds,
manifesting it.
10 degrees, beautiful sunshine. It's just going to be perfect. That's what I've heard. Jen's going to regret not racing it.
Hoping for similar weather on the Saturday as well.
No, it's going to be torrential rain on the Saturday.
Yeah, it's a storm.
Thunderstorms, I heard. Yeah. Nice. Oh, exciting weeks to look forward to.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Best of luck, Jen.
Thank you. And Dan, good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
Thanks. Man. I think you've got the I don't know, harder, easier, better, more enjoyable.
More enjoyable. There's no pain involved with getting married.
Just for the rest of your life, Jen. Just for the rest of your life.
Yeah, just a commitment for the rest of my life.
Disco. And his RuneScape, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nice. Cool. On that note, should we sign off?
Yeah. Catch you guys next week.
See you soon.